Hi, my name is David, and I'm here to talk about a song I wrote called If There Weren't Any Jews, which is surprising to me that I wrote that song because for many years I didn't like being Jewish. And that all started when I was born and raised in the Bronx. And when I was 5 years old, an Irish kid yelled at me for being Jewish, and then he cursed at me for killing Christ. I was 5. I had no idea I was Jewish, and I didn't know anything about Christ except whoever he was causing me a lot of trouble. And then I went to high school in Harlem. In Harlem, people didn't hate me for being Jewish, they hated me for being white. Okay, so then I moved to Vermont. In Vermont, people didn't hate me for being white or Jewish. They hated me for being a New Yorker. So this was the 70s. I moved to Oregon. In Oregon, people heard my New York accent and they thought I came from Australia. And they liked me. So I stayed, never told them I was Jewish. Except finally I did tell one guy, and he said, "Show me your horns." And I didn't know that Jews had horns. And then I moved to Seattle, and I was still denying, not telling anybody that I was Jewish while I was working in a delicatessen. It was called Matzo Mama's Jewish Jazz Deli. And one day this guy came in, we became friends. I went to his house, and he had a bone sitting on the windowsill. And I said, "What's that?" And he thought I was Jewish, and I should have known what that was. But he said, "Blow it." It turned out to be a shofar. And I didn't know it was a shofar. I'd never seen one, never heard one, because on the high holidays when I was a kid, I'd go to temple, but I never went inside because we couldn't afford the tickets. So I picked up the shofar and I blew into it, and out came "Mary Had a Little Lamb." And he laughed. It was funny. I put it in my act because I was working at the time as a comic and a musician. I put it in the act and I started playing it. One day at night in the delicatessen, the piano player, we were hanging out, and the piano player asked me what I believed in. And I thought about it. I said, "I believe in Zen Judaism." And he said, "Well, as a Zen Jew, what do you believe?" And I said, "Well, in Zen, the idea is to live in the moment. In Zen Judaism, we want to live in the moment, but there's not enough time." And then I developed that whole religion. And in Zen Judaism, we have our own form of meditation. It's called transcendental hesitation. And we also have a band. We play world music, kind of African, Japanese, Jewish, Latin, Caribbean bebop. And I'm also trying to increase the popularity of the shofar. Next year, in fact, I'm coming out with a new CD. It's called Ram's Horn for Christmas. I'm going to play all the Christmas songs written by Jews on the shofar. So I'm beginning to develop a sense of my Judaism through the shofar. And then the owner of the delicatessen invited me to a Seder at his house. I went, and we were waiting to eat. I was in the library looking through his books, and I randomly pulled out a book called Being Jewish, randomly opened it up, and randomly read the first sentence, and it said, "Once a Jew, always a Jew." And I thought, okay, I'm Jewish. And that started the whole return to Judaism. And then I moved to Los Angeles, where there's a lot of Jews. And I got gigs in temples. And it was very good for me. And I became a well-known shofar player, traveling around playing shofars in different temples. I did a show called Shofar Palooza. And then one day I was reading and I saw a list of Pulitzer Prize winners and Nobel Prize winners, and there were so many Jews had contributed to the betterment of the world. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. And a few days later, I was walking down my driveway just to throw out the garbage, and a melody just popped into my head, as melodies often do. And it went exactly like this. If there weren't any Jews. And I thought, oh, I got a song here. So I went inside and I wrote 80 pages of lyrics. And then I had to edit it down. I finished the song, I recorded it, put it on YouTube. People liked it. I started singing it in temple gigs. People liked it. And then I thought, we should make an animation. And I found 2 Jewish animators, and I asked them how much it would cost, and they said about $24,000. And I thought, well, that's the end of that. And then I belonged to a group of writers and theatrical people and comics and musicians, and once a month we'd have a meeting. We would trade ideas and trade thoughts and contacts, and there was also an email list. And one day I was reading through the emails and I saw an email from a guy, and he was talking about being an animator. And I thought, I'll give him a call. And I called him and we hit it off right away. It was just mind-boggling. The connection. I told him what I was doing, he told me what he was doing, and I told him, well, why don't we get together and do this together? And it was phenomenal from the day we met. Of course, we had some disagreements because we're both really strong and creative, but the magic of Guy was that he knew, just knows so much, and he knows so much about being Jewish. It's just incredible to me and very informative. It was exceedingly helpful to be able to tap his brain as to things that I didn't know about. So we worked together, and we worked together for probably 4 or 5 years. Some money came through in the beginning, and not a lot. I'm not talking thousands, like hundreds, but it was good. It was good money, and he was working a job he didn't like, and I was getting not enough gigs to really live. So any money was helpful. And we worked on it. We worked 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning, 1 in the morning, and we finally finished. It took 4 or 5 years to finish it. And I sent it out to some people I know, and some people said, this is a very dangerous thing to send out, because it was finished after October 7th. And some people said, this is not the right time to send it out. There's so much anti-Semitism. And then other people said, this is the best time to send it out because there's so much anti-Semitism. And I thought, this is the best time to send it out because this is the time for Jews to stand up and be who we are. So I did that. And then somebody else came along and gave me a chunk of money to enter it into film festivals around the world. And it's winning. It's winning. It's often we're a semi-finalist, but very often we're a winner for best animation or short animation or short film because it's only 4 minutes. But it's in Rio de Janeiro. We just won, and then Tokyo came in, and we were already successful in Israel. We're successful in Germany, which is phenomenal to me. It's a long list, and there's a lot more coming. So I am exceedingly happy with the results of what's going on, even though there are evil forces out there that would like to see the Jews destroyed. This is one way that I can take a stand and say, we're beautiful people. We're just extraordinary people. We're a small group of people that has contributed an enormous amount of ideas and talent to the world. So thanks for listening, and Am Yisrael Chai.